I'm George Clooney. You know, it's one of the #1 complaints out there in tech support land. My printer just won't work. But do you really need to lug it to the repair shop? Joining us is a man who makes it his goal to take money from hapless newbies too scared to attempt to fix their broken printers. Fortunately, under duress, he's agreed to share some tips on printer troubleshooting for free. He's local computer repairman Mike Nadelman. Hello, Mike. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
Now, how does Leo refer to you as? Nadelman, because you're one of those.
I'm a daredevil. I try everything.
You're out of control. You're nuts, man. I can tell right now. You're a live wire. All right. So how often do inkjet printer problems happen?
Oh, practically every day.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem we find is that people bring them in, and we see that the carriage is actually the print head's in the middle of the carriage, and we know that they've either unplugged the printer.
Right.
Or they've turned the power off from the power strip,
right,
as opposed to turning it off at the printer.
Right.
That's one of the biggest problems. And of course, what happens is the print head dries out, and you go through a couple print heads, you might as well buy a new printer.
Right.
Cost of print heads.
So what are the main tips that we can do to avoid having to lug this to some shop, except yours, of course?
Yeah. Well, of course, we love the business.
Okay.
First, always turn off the print head, turn off the printer from the power switch on the printer.
Right.
And if preferable, you can just plug it right into the wall. You don't really need a power strip.
Okay. Good tip.
Surge protector with a switch on it. Secondly, if you're going to remove the print head, or if you're going to store the printer for a while, cap the print head either in a protective box, which some manufacturers provide.
That's nice.
If you don't have that, sometimes they give you a little cap like this. I'm not real crazy about that. The best really is magic tape.
Right, just simple, just this type of tape. You don't no electrician's tape, or gum's not a good idea? Chewing gum?
No, chewing gum, not a good idea. Good. Also, you can put it in a bag,
cool.
Ziploc bag, and that helps.
Good. What else? What else can we do?
Well, you can clean the print head with alcohol, if you'd like, with a swab.
Yeah.
That helps to saturate a little bit. We have a number of kits here that we brought to show you. These are refill kits. I don't recommend refilling the ones with the head, because most of the time the print head itself goes bad, and so there may still be ink in there. In fact, you can shake on it, you can hear the ink.
Okay.
But the cartridge itself, you can refill.
Yeah.
Not this particular one, but this one you can.
Okay. And how do you do that?
Well, you take, the ink comes in a kit like this, and you have to drill, there's a drill here somewhere, you have to drill a little hole in some of them.
Right, and then you just put it right in there like that.
So basically you put it in there, and sorry.
Now, should you make sure you're away from when that happens? Mike, you look like
that's a messy job.
You look like an extra in a Tarantino film right now, with that splatter across your forehead. So, any other tips?
Well,
you might have there.
Good to put on rubber gloves.
How about a good dry cleaning place?
This stuff doesn't come out. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Well, I'm taking one for the network. Right now, Paul Allen's tuning in. What happened?
There's different colors of ink, and this stuff it can be a real mess.
Yeah,
the other thing is, you don't want to use a metal screwdriver in some of these. This is we used to call this the fence. It was a picket fence, a metal picket fence.
Yeah.
Now they use a magnetic strip. If you touch this with a screwdriver, what's going to happen? It's going to demagnetize it, and it's going to cause the thing to lose track of where it is.
Okay.
So that's just a tip there.
Cool. I had a problem with my printer. I still don't know what is wrong with my printer. I went through the whole wizard thing, and it says check the inkjet may be, or the ink source may be actually dried up, but I took it out and it was moist where the little circle of ink was. So if that's moist, then the problem isn't with the cartridge. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, not necessarily. Well, there's a number of self-tests. This particular one, this is a BJC 600.
A VJ Sing 600?
600 BJC.
Oh, I thought maybe the pro golfer was doing something else.
It has a number of functions that when you unplug it and you plug it in and you hold these buttons down, we call them secret codes, because companies like HP don't really want to release those to the public. They won't even release them to us sometimes.
Really? Is that this forces people to take it to them for repair?
Well, it's more complicated than that. In this particular version, we had to calibrate the print heads with atmospheric pressure readings and temperature readings, which is ironic that people use these on airplanes because the pressure changes so much that it's surprising they work at all.
Right. All right, Mike, I have a favor to ask you, because I just got to hear that we had several calls and people didn't quite see what not to do. We'd like to show one more time what not to do when this happens. Okay, can we just go through that one more time?
Well, what not to do.
Yeah, what not to do. Okay, you're getting
you want to wear wet rubber gloves.
Rubber gloves. Okay.
Which,
well, I don't really have time for that. But so if you shouldn't have someone like looking over here right like this, right like that. So that's something you wouldn't want people at home to do right there.
That's right.
Okay, good tip. Mike Nadelman has graciously provided a bunch of must-have tips to keeping your printer in tip-top condition. Be sure to check out his article at techtv.com/call-for-help. Coming up next, we're going to answer more of your live computer questions, and Mike's going to get a bill. Thanks for coming out.